Hey everybody, and welcome back to this third video on identifying different types of personality disorders. Today, or in this one, we're going to talk about how to spot narcissistic personality disorder. I am your host, Dr. Elise Snipes. I know I've said this in the other two installments, but in case you haven't seen those, it's important to go over it, that personality disorders are long-standing ways of understanding and reacting to the world that often develop to help the person protect themselves in the past. And they haven't adapted their way to adapting or to understanding or reacting in their adult life. Personality disorders are often egocentric, which means the person doesn't see a problem with their behavior. So it's difficult to get them to see the problem or even be willing to change. Further, those people who haven't gone to treatment, who haven't recognized the problem, and it is possible to do, but it's very difficult to get the person to be willing to examine their behaviors from a objective perspective. But for people who haven't gone through any sort of treatment to address their behaviors, they are generally unable to form healthy relationships because they're stuck in this protective survival mode. When you go through their behaviors, you want to think to yourself, what is it that this behavior is doing for this person? How is it that this behavior was protective or helpful in the past? If you really want to understand the whys. What this series is designed to do is to really help you understand the signs of a personality disorder so you can evaluate for yourself whether the relationship that you're in is a healthy relationship for you. One of the first characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder is a grandiose sense of arrogance and self-importance. They always feel special. The rules don't apply to them, and they need to be right. And this can be overt or covert. When it's overt, they will actively tell you that you are wrong and they are right. When it's covert, they may, just ignore you. If you don't agree with them, they may, ignore what you have to say, ignore your feelings, ignore your thoughts, but they may not get into a tit-for-tat argument with you. Generally, in a relationship with a narcissist, you are going to lose an argument with them because they don't want to hear your perspective. They think their perspective is the only perspective and they are right. So anything you say, whether it was about the quality of the movie you just watched, or politics or religion, or how you felt when you got up this morning, and that has to do with you. They have their opinion and they will tell you what it is. And if you differ from them, in their mind, you will be wrong. Another characteristic that you want to look for that, shows you that they have this grandiose sense of self-importance is that they will exaggerate their abilities and accomplishments. If they are, working at a company, they may say they're the CEO. If they played football in high school but rode the bench, they may tell you that they were the star athlete. A lot of people exaggerate to a certain extent their abilities and accomplishments, but it is really prominent in people with narcissistic personality disorder because they need to convince you that they are the best, they are the brightest. Just like with antisocial personality disorder, there's often a lack of empathy when you're dealing with a narcissist. They are so worried about how they feel and about being center stage that they don't have time for empathy. They don't care to try to empathize. And that's, a semantic difference between antisocial and narcissistic. In narcissistic personality disorder, it's just not important to them to try to empathize, even if they can. There's an excessive need for admiration. They are looking for followers, not partners. So if you are not constantly stroking their ego and telling them how awesome they are and how wonderful they did, you will often be met with irritability and rejection. They want somebody that worships them. And they will only approve of themselves. If they approve of you, then that means they are not center stage. So they may say, you did good at that, but I did better. If there is a compliment in there, it's going to be couched in a, you did pretty good, but I'm better at it. And then you've also got the fact that, they need this admiration, they need this attention, and overt narcissists are going to push you aside. If you are not giving them the attention that they want, or if there is the ability for them to get attention from somewhere else and you're standing in their way, they will push you aside. They will dump you. They will aggressively move you out of the way. If you are in a partnership, for example, at work, one of your colleagues is a narcissist and you stand in the way of their promotion or them getting attention, they may actively sabotage you. The covert narcissist, on the other hand, may just ignore you. If there is the opportunity to get attention, think about people who walk the red carpet or whatever, and they have somebody on their arm and they just kind of ignore that person's there. They ignore, introducing them or anything because they are so elated with being in the public eye, being center stage, being the center of attention, that they forget about everybody else. There's a sense of entitlement among narcissists. The world owes them something because in their mind, they are so special. And it's important to remember that this entitlement, they think that you need to constantly be praising them. You should be giving them gifts. If they give you gifts, it may seem like, oh, well, I'm the center of attention. They're giving me gifts. You want to look at it. If they are giving you gifts, are there strings attached? With a narcissist, there generally are strings attached. There's always an end game. If they're giving you a gift, if they're buttering you up, there's a reason for that. There's something that they want from you that they can get. A lot of people with narcissistic personality disorder are envious of others because those other people are getting attention. And this is especially influencers and celebrities and other people. There is a certain amount of rageful envy at people who get more attention than they do. They feel enraged. That's the only word I can think of right now. When somebody else gets more attention, especially if it's for something that they do. So if they are a YouTube personality and there's another influencer who gets more attention, instead of thinking, how can I learn from this person? Or, being happy for them that they're successful, they want to sabotage. They are angry at that person and they will find a way to discount them and be as discrediting as possible. Which takes us to frequently demeaning, intimidating, bullying, blaming, shaming, or exploiting others without guilt or shame. And this is one of those that kind of blurs the line between narcissistic and antisocial personality disorder. One of the things you'll see in relationships with a person with narcissistic personality disorder is a lot of times they'll create confusion, and it's sort of a gaslighting. It's not to make you lose your sanity, but it's to make you question your own perceptions or your own memories because they want to implant their vision of what happened. If you're in a relationship with someone like this, maybe they didn't call you or they stood you up for a date or an appointment and you call them out on it. They will somehow make it your fault. And, it's not their fault at all. They will not take responsibility for their behavior. It's always going to be your fault. When you're in relationships like this, you want to listen for those things. If they're constantly challenging your perceptions, you get into a disagreement or you want to call them out on something and you have your statements ready to go and what you believe and what you perceive, you have this interaction with this person and you walk out of it kind of scratching your head going, maybe that didn't happen the way I remember. If it happens once in a while, okay, that might be a misremembering. But when it happens most of the time, you want to look and really ask yourself, is your perception that bad, or are you being manipulated? Observe how they treat others. Just like with the other personality disorders, a lot of times, if you are the person that is in their good graces right now, they may not overtly mistreat, shame, or blame you. But if you see them doing it to their other friends, their colleagues, their coworkers, their family, it's going to come back and happen to you at some point. So be aware of that. You can see the truth in how people treat others when you look at the relationships that are longer standing than yours. If you're in a new relationship with somebody, look at how they treat people that they've known for a month or a year, and you'll get a better idea because they've taken off those kit gloves and they're being more their true selves. And finally, it's important to remember not to make or believe their excuses for their behavior. A narcissist is always going to have an explanation or an excuse that makes them look good and makes other people look bad. So if they are never at fault for anything, that is a big warning sign that you might be in a relationship with a narcissist. Now, narcissism has gotten a lot of attention on the internet as of late, probably the last year and a half. So it is important to recognize if you're in this type of relationship and examine ways you can deal with it. If you are wanting to maintain a level of interaction with this person, what do you need to do in order to ensure that you are maintaining your boundaries and in a healthy place with regard to your relationship with them? Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.